Hi folks, and welcome back to the plot. I started off the last few episodes saying that spring hadn't quite arrived, and this week it came out in full force. It has been absolutely glorious. Completely perfect gardening weather, not too hot, and it's just been so nice. So pretty much every day after work I've been up at the allotment and just doing lots of kind of little and often jobs. That's mostly what I'm going to be showing you today, because today is Saturday, so I don't have long to go home and edit this video. So it should be a pretty quick one. Just going to show you around, show you what I've been doing. We had a very nice surprise yesterday, show you the seedlings, and as well talk about my quite large to-do list. So, although I've been coming up an awful lot and doing lots of work, looking around the allotment, still, it never gets done. You know, that's kind of the thing about allotments, but it's completely fine. You learn to accept it. You can see I've got absolutely loads of stuff just lying around here, and that was all on top of the shed. You'll remember in the last episode I showed you the tarp, which was completely done, and so that's all come off, and there's just kind of stuff all around. But yesterday I couldn't believe my luck. Absolutely unbelievable scenes, right? I've just arrived at the allotment, just taking a stroll, as you do. And there's a skip. They've actually delivered a skip to the allotment. And you might remember there's been a few things on the allotment that I've been waiting to get rid of for ages. I've got over here a builder's bag just full with all the rubbish. This is all like plastic and old carpet mostly. So this needs to go to the tip. So I'll show you. We've freed up some more space, which is fantastic, but that is why it is looking so completely chaotic around here at the moment. And believe it or not, it looks a lot better than it did yesterday. So that is absolutely fantastic news. And the last episode was all about preparing the beds, and these are pretty much all done now. I've got to be honest, they don't look great. The compost doesn't look amazing, but it'll give food to the plants, and that's the main thing, not really about how it looks. The grass path, still not taken. I have spotted a few tiny little germinating grass seeds, so hopefully that will continue. This bed is looking a little rough, but a lot of these grass clods that you can see, they are not in the ground, you know, they're just gonna die off and go back into the soil, so that's fine. Purple sprouting broccoli this year is utterly bonkers. This is going absolutely haywire, and unfortunately, it's kind of all come ripe at the same time. Last year I got really lucky. The plants all sort of came to flower at slightly different periods, whereas this year we've got a real glut, but that's fine. It doesn't look like it, but I'm taking harvests of this very regularly, and it's a very good problem to have because it's just one of my favourite crops. I've done a bit more work on some of the other beds. You can see this one's had a load more compost on it now. And over here on the L bed, this has had some compost. And as well, I have dug out a little trench, which is going to be for my peas. That's had a load of compost down in there because I know they're a hungry crop. So that's fantastic. I have as well had a little weed of the strawberry bed, which never looks fantastic, mainly because there's loads of stuff around it always, but hey, it's an improvement. You can see there's a lot of this that looks bare, but if we go in close, you can see a little crown here and a little crown here as well. And there's one up here which had died, so I've just replanted one of the runners that kind of grew. And hopefully we'll have some nice strawberries this year. Hopefully they'll be nicer than last April's. Let's take a little look in the greenhouse. The greenhouse is mostly looking okay, but there's still lots of jobs. I still need to put some glass in the roof. The seedlings are looking really good, the brassicas. The germination on the leeks and the alliums has been a little bit spotty, to say the least. I think this is just because it's old seed. But you can see, unfortunately, there's quite a few gaps. The seedlings for the salads are doing really well, probably due for a successional sowing very soon. And the peas, I need to get some more in here. I had lots of really helpful comments after I had planted these about how many peas I should be sowing. And by all accounts, it would seem I've not done enough. So what I'm gonna do is sow some more early seeds in the rest of the root trainers. And then my main crop, which I've got here, I'm gonna sow into some guttering that I've got lying around, the old allotment guttering trick. So hopefully I'll have enough peas and they'll all come good. And just over here, we've got the strawberry runners. I really need to do something with those. I'll be showing that off soon. Hopefully I've got a cute little idea. We'll see if it comes to fruition. But also in here, you can see I've got 2 pots and these have been sowed with flowers. I finally sowed some flower seeds. So in here, we've got tagetes, French marigold, and in here we've got some pot marigold, calendula. And if you're wondering what flowers are good to sow this time of year, I'll put a link to Niall's video up here. He's got a fantastic series all about what flowers to sow in specific months. And in today's episode, he's got a special guest who absolutely does not know what they're talking about, but it's still worth watching the rest of the video, I would say. Over on the rest of the bench, we've got a few more of the to-dos. So my peas, these onion sets, this is my burning job at the moment, the one that I really want to get done, sowing the onion sets. It's getting towards a little later than I like to sow them, but as you know, I suffer quite badly from onion white rot. So it's always a real gamble whether or not the onion sets come good, but later on I will be planting those today. And over here, I've got some really, really horrible looking potatoes. Now this year I'm doing my potatoes a little differently. Normally around this time of year is when you'd be planting your first earlies, and it is really nice planting first earlies and getting that first lovely harvest, but I hate new potatoes. I end up like not eating most of them, which is a real shame and a waste. So this year I'm just going to do main crop potatoes, and I've got King Edwards, I think. I've lost the label, but I think they're King Edwards, and Maris Pipers. Now, you can't beat a roast potato. They are absolutely the kings. If you think otherwise, you're wrong, I'm sorry. So this year I'm just doing main crop, and what I think I'm gonna do is plant a few a little early, around the same time as the first early, and just see what happens. But you might also notice they are maybe over-chitted, and I'm not sure if that's a problem or not. But give it another week and I'll be putting those in the ground. And back here we do have a few more things on my to-do list. I've got some more leeks that I'm going to sow. These are slightly newer seeds, so I'm hoping the germination will be better. And they're an autumn harvest, not a winter leek like the rest. I've also got here some a few tulip bulbs, and I know it's completely the wrong time of year to plant tulips, but Jess bought these and she forgot to plant them over winter. They've started growing in the packet, so I'm going to stick them in the ground and see what happens. And as well, I have bought up the flower box. And I've got a few things in here, some harvested snapdragons, and there's just loads of other stuff that I need to look through and see if I want to grow any of that at the allotment. And there's a few more things to quickly show you down this end of the plot. Oh, but one thing that is really nice is just down here on this bed, a little spring flower has popped up. And it's this gorgeous light kind of pink purple. And I was really confused by it. I've never seen one like this. And I did a little botanising, a little looking at it. It's not the healthiest looking plant. And I've realised I think this is one of my daikon radish, one of the very few successful cover crops. And it's got this lovely, lovely spring flower, which is just really, really nice to see. Anyway, moving on. Over here, we've got a fantastic development. This is the new apple tree I've planted, and you can see it's just coming into bud, which means it's taken, I think anyway, certainly a good sign. So I'm really happy about this. And just behind it, you might remember, this is where there's been a builder's bag absolutely full of all the old like little bits of metal and pottery and carpets and just loads and loads of really horrible stuff that I found when I first took on the allotment, and that is finally gone. So we can start to do something with this part of the plot, which is nice. And down here, there's just the remaining pile of the old apple tree. I've been slowly processing all of that up. And this apple tree on the left, it has another year like this year's and the year before it, where it does basically nothing and puts out no fruit. I think it's time to get rid. And the plan is that it will all go in the wood burner. So a definite shame to see that old apple tree go, but it wasn't doing what it needed to do, and it won't go to waste at least. Just next door, we've got this real kind of nasty looking bare earth now, which I made when I was digging up that hole for the apple tree, but it is deliberate. I've left that because it should be a perfect starting point for our yellow rattle, which is a complete and utter gamble again, but I've got some in the fridge at home. And it's in the fridge to kind of mimic the cold period where it would be laying on the floor over winter. And hopefully that will aid the germination rate, and I should be trying that in a few weeks. We'll see. It's a funny time of year and it's very, very difficult to get a yellow rattle going, but hopefully we'll be able to get some going, and that'll be really nice to have. So there we go, just a quick look around today at what I've been up to on this, the most glorious of weeks. It really has been perfect. I hope you've been able to get out and enjoy your gardens. Make sure to tune in next week and hopefully I'll have an update for you on some of the to-do list that I've showed you today. Thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.